Getting tickets in 2025. Just to preface this, I usually like to keep my videos a bit more fun and lighthearted, but this is an issue that I really feel quite strongly about. This video will be a little bit more rambly and a bit less heavily scripted than usual, since I've only got a few notes for the points I want to hit in front of me. Also, my experience with trying to get tickets for things has almost exclusively been with live music. I just thought that was important. So, a couple of days ago, Metallica, one of my favourite bands of all time, announced a series of dates for Europe, one in Ireland's Aviva Stadium. My first thought was, wow, I need to get tickets to see one of the best live bands of all time while they're still touring. And then a few minutes later, the dread for the absolute chaos of trying to get tickets for such a big show started to set in. In the current era where everything is done online, you would expect that buying event tickets in 2025 would be a fairly simple and efficient process. The reality is the exact opposite. The evolution of this technology has made getting tickets for live music, sports, and any other kind of live event more challenging than ever. You'd think that not having to sit outside a physical shop for hours or days at a time to see your favourite band would be an improvement, but the reality is that now you're less likely to get tickets for live events than ever. One of the biggest hurdles in 2025 is dynamic pricing. Ticketmaster is well known for making itself the only place on the market to buy tickets and then marking up those ticket prices to try and get as much money from their customers as possible to the point of being completely unreasonable. Along with marking up the price of tickets, then assessing demand to mark up those prices even further, they're also known for taking a small service fee for themselves. In 2023, when selling tickets for The Cure, another of my favourite bands of all time, their fee was actually greater than the actual price of tickets to see the band. The band's ticket price was $20. There was also an $11.65 service fee, facility charge of $10, and an overall order processing fee of $5.50. The tickets that were valued at $20 to begin with were now costing fans up to $47, and that was before the dynamic pricing kicked in to price them even higher. This prompted a literally nuclear backlash from both fans and Robert Smith, the Cure's singer and guitarist, who said he was just as sickened as the fans. In the end, pressure from both the band and their fans forced Ticketmaster to refund $10 to fans who bought the cheapest tickets and $5 to everyone else. All the dissatisfaction with the service came together and exploded with both Taylor Swift's Eras Tour and Oasis Live 25 Reunion Tour, probably the two most anticipated tours in recent memory. Ticketmaster's dynamic pricing system marked the tickets already priced at $86 up to, I can't believe I'm saying this is actually real, $743 each for the Dublin show. The way Ticketmaster does this is by constantly assessing demand, and if it thinks people will overpay, it will make them. Another issue is the queuing. My two worst experiences with this were for AC/DC's Power Up tour in Dublin, where I entered the queue behind 80,000 people, and Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne's last show in Birmingham, where I was behind, no joke, 260,000 people. For anyone that isn't afflicted with a terminal case of metalhead, Black Sabbath are the band that literally pioneered the entire genre of heavy metal in the 1960s and 70s, and now that all the members are in their 70s, they're doing one last show in Birmingham with possibly the most insane lineup of support bands I've ever seen. Hold on, let me look it up. Okay, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Tool, Slayer, Pantera, Gojira, Alice in Chains, Hailstorm, Lamb of God, Anthrax, Mastodon, and Rival Sons, along with a bunch more solo musicians. In this case, though, it wasn't a tour, it was that band's last ever show in their hometown. Needless to say, I didn't get tickets for that one, but I did manage by some ridiculous level of chance to get tickets for AC/DC, and yeah, they were probably the best live band I've ever seen. But my experiences weren't even the worst I've ever heard of. Some people that I know had to wait for hours in queues of tens or hundreds of thousands of people just to get the option to buy tickets, and when they finally got to the front, the Ticketmaster website that's known for its instability crashed, and they'd just be sent straight back to the start again. Even if they did somehow manage to get right to the front of the queue and select their tickets, Ticketmaster might still decide that if they didn't check out on the purchase in time, those tickets that had already been selected could be offered to someone else for an even higher price. Imagine going to get physical tickets at a shop, and you had just gotten your tickets, and someone in the queue behind you took them out of your hands and bought them for an even higher price. At this point, I think I'd just rather sleep in a tent on a dirty city street for a few days in pouring rain for tickets than go through this. But the tribunal of corporate goblins that run Ticketmaster must have decided that all this wasn't making it hard enough for customers, so for Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, probably as a response to the outbreak of scalpers using bots to snap up as many tickets as possible and sell them on resale sites like StubHub or eBay, sometimes for thousands of dollars, decided that Taylor Swift's UK tour was now something called a lead bookers event, where fans had to actually be standing at the venue to get tickets. This was not made clear on the website and came at the cost of having gifted tickets immediately be invalidated, even though they'd already been bought. In 2023, Ticketmaster were rightly investigated by the US Department of Justice, along with over 30 state and district attorneys over their pricing methods. In the end, I did end up getting 2 Metallica tickets, but only by registering for a pre-sale, then realizing that the pre-sale was only for MasterCard users. I don't use MasterCard, so I ended up having to call some of my friends who I knew did to ask them to buy tickets for me so I could pay them back. But by that point, the pre-sale had already sold out. Somehow, I managed to secure 2 pitch tickets in the general sale, but only by selling my left kidney to Lars Ulrich and getting a friend to hold tickets for me. Ticketmaster quite clearly has a monopoly on the live event ticket industry, and for anyone unaware, having a complete monopoly where one company controls the entire market and is the only way to trade in any commodity is illegal. So there needs to be pressure to make Ticketmaster change to be more consumer friendly, and we all need to be part of the pressure. Thanks for having the attention span to sit through this slightly long-winded and rambly video, and sorry for the ridiculously long gap between uploads. If you enjoyed listening to me whine about all this first world nonsense, please consider subscribing and following me on Twitter, as it really does help small channels like this. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.